Kendrick Perkins says the Heat should trade Jimmy Butler? Oh my. And are the Heat turning their season around? Those two things are what we're going to talk about on today's show. Sorry, I couldn't really contain my laughter. I heard trading Jimmy Butler, and I started laughing. Before we dive into what Perk had to say, and it's probably just coming from his Celtics narrative mind back in the day, but share this video on the social media. I want to make this the largest Heat YouTube channel there is. If the best way to do that, we'll share it to others so they can join the channel. So click this video, hit that share button, click post to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Tag me at Nic_Rohloff, and I'll give you a retweet. Let's make this the largest Heat YouTube channel on YouTube by hitting that share button. All right, here's what Perk had to say today, or yesterday, I should say. It's time for the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler to go their separate ways. They need to trade him to a team that can compete for a title this season. They aren't going to go on a run again. Well, Big Perk, I don't know if you have any knowledge up in that brain, but the Heat are not going to trade Jimmy Butler. That is a bona fide fact. There is no concern from me whatsoever on if the Heat will even entertain the idea of trading number 22. I get this year has been rough, specifically the last 7 games, but I'm not going to come out here and say Jimmy Butler is the entire reason why. He missed some time this year. He's playing 32 games, so he's missed 15 on the year, but he's still having a decent season statistically. 21.1 points per game. The efficiency is up. I will say this, his finishing around the rim percentage is lowering this year, which that's not ideal to see someone in age increasing. They're finishing around the rim going down, but he's still hitting his jumpers at an effective rate, specifically those corner threes, which has boosted his three-point percentage up to 42.6. He's shooting above 53% from both corners when beyond the arc. He's really found a home in that short corner PJ Tucker style. But I'll say this, I don't care how bad it gets in the 305 for the Miami Heat. You do not trade Jimmy Butler, and you do not trade the player that changed your franchise. We're going to look at where the Heat were before they acquired Butler in that sign and trade deal in the 2019 offseason in a second, but you just do not trade Jimmy. And if you're with me, type your ends, but I guess I'll let y'all get your thoughts in the comment section. Would you even entertain a Jimmy Butler trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no. It's pretty obvious where I stand on the situation. I am not trading Mr. Butler for anything whatsoever. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And he did save the Miami Heat because when you look at the 2018-2019 season, well, they finished 39 and 43, 10th in the East. That's not good. The leading scorer that season, Josh Richardson, at 16 points per game. Hassan Whiteside, your leading rebounder at 11.3 rebounds. And then our good pal, Justice Winslow, was the leading assist man. Our offensive and defensive rating, well, they weren't so good at 107.3 and 107.6. The point is, we were in a dark place, man. We had absolutely no future. That was Bam's second year in the league. Obviously, that was the year Dwayne Wade also retired. That was his final year, that last dance. But my goodness, that team was not in a good spot. They were in tough spots financially. They didn't have any really good assets. No one knew Bam Adebayo was going to break out in year 3 like he did. And honestly, if you didn't have Jimmy Butler join your team, maybe Bam doesn't become the player he does right now. And when you look at what Jimmy has done, not just in his Miami career, but specifically in the postseason, this is the 5th year of Jimmy in the 305. In the first 4 seasons, he's played in 64 playoff games. That is almost an entire season worth of NBA games. That is more games played in the postseason than some guys get their entire career. He's carried them to 2 NBA finals, 3 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, and they were the number 1 seed in 2021. Jimmy Butler has been a dominant force inside the association once putting on that Miami Heat uniform, and you're just not going to get rid of him, at least when you have a roster that is going to be in the playoffs. And I do understand that if you elected to trade Jimmy Butler, you would be able to get a boatload of picks from a contender. And you could retool the roster around a Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez Jr. core, which I'm not saying that is a horrible idea, but I'm never trading Jimmy Butler. I will say, if you did want to go that route, you could look out west to Oklahoma City. They have a shit ton of picks. They need a veteran alongside Shea. You get 4 or 5 first-round picks for Jimmy, and then you could use that in the offseason and trade for Donovan Mitchell, Lil Boom, D-Mitch, Hero, Bam, and Jaquez. But we won't talk about that right now. I am still not trading Jimmy Butler because I'm trusting this team to turn it around. Yes, I know this is the worst losing streak maybe in the last 20 years for the Miami Heat, because if you take away the 2008 season where they were practically tanking for that lefty Michael Beasley, they haven't lost this many games in a row since the first 7 games of Dwayne Wade and Udonis Haslem's career. I will believe they turn it around, and I'll tell you why in just a second, but I'll cover the Miami Heat no matter what. Jimmy Butler trade rumor, I'm telling you about it. Trading for Terry Rozier, I got you. Any news, any rumors, this is the place you want to be. So join the channel, hit that sub button, and we go live for Miami Heat basketball games as well. We'll be live again tonight against the Sacramento Kings, where I believe the Heat will end that 7-game losing streak. Before we tell you more about the Miami Heat, let me tell you about my favorite sponsor, which is Factor Meals. And with code NBAChat50, you can get 50% off at factormeals.com/NBAChat50. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. Skip the overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious, if you ask me. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to that front door that are ready to be heated up and eaten in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. So head to factormeals.com/NBAChat50 and use code NBAChat50 to get 50% off. That's code NBAChat50 at factormeals.com/NBAChat50. That will be in the description and comments of today's video. All right, the Heat are going to turn it around with a win tonight against the Sacramento Kings. I've stated that they were going to win on Saturday against the Knicks. I said they were going to win on Monday against the Suns. Evidently, those 2 things have not happened. But we're going to be back, in the third time is the charm, because the Heat did not practice yesterday. Instead, they held a film session, which is very intriguing. Barry Jackson came in here and said, Bam said there was a film session today with candid communication among everyone, which players were vulnerable with each other, and now they have clarity. An intense, resolute Eric Spoelstra said nothing discussed today was any of our business. This team is fired up. And Bam Adebayo was asked specifically about the film session, his answer to a question. It provided a lot of clarity for all of us. We walked out with a lot of clarity and a lot of confidence. It also did not stop there. Caleb Martin was asked about the film session. He said things were said that needed to be said. And this should fire you up. This should be ready to put you through a brick wall for this team. You should feel confident that the Heat are turning around their season and going in a different direction. I don't know if any of y'all played sports in your heyday or had the capabilities when you were playing sports to be able to watch film. But there is nothing like when you're going down bad, and I've been used to this. I've been shredded before myself back in the day. But when you're down bad and you go into a practice, no hoops, no shots, no nothing, and you just watch the film, you see what you're doing wrong. You see what you got to do right, and you're just yelling at each other, telling you, what the hell are we doing here? Why are you doing this? You need to be doing this. Oh, that's going to make you fired up inside. You're going to get corrected. You're going to get back to the basics, the X's and O's, and you are going to be playing better basketball. And I trust no one else more in the world than Eric Spoelstra to go back into the film room, figure it out, get the people in the right spot, and get this ship cruising back to the NBA postseason. If you're like me and you have faith in the season turning around, Usually type Fs are for bad things. Tell those Fs if you've got faith in the Heat turning around the season. If you disagree and say there's no chance, we'll type the NCs, but you're wrong. All right, and this is good. I did want to look at the game real quick tonight. This is game 48 of the NBA season. The Heat are 24-23. They are actually favorites as I'm filming right now of 1.5 points as they take on the Sacramento Kings, who I believe are 27-18. Hopefully I didn't misremember that. Over under 226.5. But this is the game where I believe the Heat turn it around. It's no easy opponent. This is a good ball club that's coming in off 2 days rest, and they've won 4 out of the last 5 games. And it all starts with defending the ball. This is where I imagine Eric Spoelstra and this Heat team took a lot of time looking at in the film room is the defense. You've got to be better at defending the ball. I always coin the phrase, and I feel like I've been a broken record, saying point of attack defense. You cannot get beat off the dribble so easily to where they get 1-2 steps past you. I'm looking at you, Rozier and Tyler Hero, and anybody really closing out, because you can't be too aggressive on those closeouts. Allow the dribble drive, which penetrates your defense, collapses the defense, and then they kick out for open three-point shooters. It all starts with stopping the ball, contain the dribble drive, and you will be all good as a defense. That's where it starts. No easy task, though, against De'Aaron Fox, the speedster left-hander from Kentucky. Make sure you do join the channel. One more time, I'll tell you, because we will be live for the game against the Kings tonight. We're also going to be live on Friday against the Washington Wizards. We will not be going anywhere, so hit that sub button. Lock us in for the Miami Heat trade coverage leading up to the deadline just a week away, and join us for the watch party tonight.